Hello to you. I'm here today to explain a little bit more about my relation with fairies. Also, to just give a background or a story around the Book of Fairies that I sell in my shop and that I have translated in French. The first version was in English and then French. And so it began really around 2005, after having had my Reiki initiation, the third one, the master level. And so with each initiation, the frequency rises within. So basically I was in a high energy state, very high energy state. And so my vision and my feelings, everything was just different. And so this one evening I was with my partner, because he passed it that same evening with me. So we were both in the same state. And so in that evening, I was trying to take a photo of him. That was after the master level, obviously. And as I was trying to take a photo of him, with the camera, I saw a blue fairy moving around. So it was a little bit blurry. I couldn't see clothes or anything. It's just the wings and the blue shape, quite small, kind of indigo bright light, moving very fast, but also just letting me see her. And also during the master level, our Reiki master, she did say to one of us, I think it was my partner, that he had two little beings around. That's what she felt. And I think that blue being was one of them. And so I was overexcited, and so it took me a little bit of time to settle down and be able to communicate in a telepathic way with the fairy. And so, because without the camera I couldn't see her, but as I was taking the camera I could see her. So there was a few minutes there until I could just calm down a little bit and try talking to her. And so I talked to her with my mind, and she replied. So it was mind to mind. And then she ended. I said she because it could be a he, or she or he, whatever. And then at the end of the communication, she just turned her back to me and walked as if there was an invisible way in the air, obviously for me, but for her differently. And she just walked, turned her back, and shape-shifted into a surfer with a surfboard under her arm. His arm, by the way, that was a guy when he shape-shifted. And just walking away towards probably the ocean or something like that. And so, that was my first big kind of psychedelic experience, really, with the fairy. Psychedelic, I say, because it was so limitless. That was really the first time I understood deeply how, all the stories there are about fairies, they are, in some part they're real, but they're a little bit too, I don't know, rigid. They don't feel like nature or natural laws, really. So anyway, that time the fairy clearly showed me that they are pretty limitless and they can shapeshift to their will and do whatever they want, really. So that was the start. And that was the start to a very long connection that is still ongoing now. So after this experience, sorry, I have a bit of a cold, but after this experience, then they used to come in dreams mostly, and whenever they wanted. The thing is, my relation with them is very clear. It's they decide everything. I don't decide anything at all. I mean, no, I cannot go somewhere and say, "Hey, fairy, can you appear?" Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. So basically, they decide, and then later on, we were in Brazil, kind of doing Reiki sessions there as well, and giving healing, also just doing other kind of spiritual missions and traveling and all that. And so there I had a strong fairy connection thanks to a stone I was wearing all the time, chrysoprase, if that's the way we say it in English, stone, which is really highly connected to the fairies. I mean, that's well known for that. So, and my partner channeled a fairy that was attached to that stone and that had a big message for me. So that was really powerful and really beautiful. And so time moves on and they still come in dreams whenever. I read and discover some things about them in kind of very powerful books called Eludia, which I don't know if they're really published in a very international way, but we discovered them in a very magical way when we were in France at some time, passing through, and there are like 4 books of these, of all this knowledge that the Elohim channel gives through a channel. Anyway, and they, it talks about how, for example, at one stage, how the dragons are the ones who are like the energetic pillars for fairies that enable the fairies to exist. They're like guardians of fairies, basically, in some sort. It's not their only purpose, but and I'm very connected to dragons as well, so it was a powerful discovery. And so anyway, time moves on, and then lots more spiritual missions and healing and helping people and all that. And at one stage, in a home we had in the south of France, I was having a siesta, and I saw with my inner vision, eye, a blue fairy that was visiting me in the home, like basically watching me sleep. But this time, to describe her would be impossible because she was a lot bigger. It was magical, mystical, and quite big. I mean, like a small human, basically, but very blue and long hair. Extremely beautiful, but really not in a human way, and really, really not like in most drawings you see. I would be incapable of describing her. And very powerful as well. Anyway, she was visiting me briefly, and then she went. We had no conversation. So there you go. But that was powerful. And then around 2013, I received from the universe Reiki, called the Angelus Reiki, which is a Reiki of fairies, angels, dragons, ascended masters, angels, at the core this, and it came after having received already the Elohim Reiki, which is also a Reiki I downloaded, I received from the universe. And all this came obviously after I had the Tibetan Usui Reiki master level. So after this Angelus Reiki, my connection with fairies grew even more, because there are symbols and knowledge of fairies in the Reiki. And so around the same time, I also started kind of channeling, but it's too strong a word to say. I don't really like to use the word channeling for me, because truly it's like kind of more simple. It's just, it comes so clearly what I have to write, as if the fairy is just beside me, but I don't leave my body. I am me. I'm just me here and receiving everything that I have to write. But everything that I wrote in the Book of Fairies comes from them. It just flowed completely clearly. So you could call it channeling, but in a little bit of a more simple way. And then I have it available in French and English. I did all the art and the fairies, most especially one fairy, told me what to write. And so then it goes on and on. I mean, it continues ongoing these days. It's very much alive in the day-to-day life. I think about them a lot. I give offerings to them or to nature. But in the dream world, nothing. These days, absolutely nothing. I think they might be busy doing a lot around the world, because I feel their presence is intensifying around the world. And I hope so. And I know it is, because the earth is elevating. So many people are waking up and feeling all this magic, so it makes sense to me. But anyway, that's it. That's about what I can share today in this moment, to help a little bit understand why the Book of Fairies. That's it. And yeah, a lot of fairy blessings to you. Bye bye.